You are listening to the No Gimmicks, Just Sweat podcast with your host, Eric Logan. No Gimmicks, Just Sweat is dedicated to hearing the journeys and unique stories behind an athlete's training and what drives them. Get inspired to own your life and make the impossible possible. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Also, please take a few seconds to rate the show and drop me a review. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hello and welcome to this episode of No Gimmicks, Just Sweat, where today we welcome back Leah DeKalb to the show. Leah, how you doing?
I'm good, Eric. How are you?
I'm great. It's been a while.
It has been a minute. You know, I was just listening back to the first episode we recorded, and I realized that so many great things have happened since then. So I look forward to hearing what's good with you and can't wait to share some updates about what's going on my end too.
Awesome. So the episode she's referring to is episode 56. So if you want to go back and listen to that one before you get here to kind of know what's going on, what she's talking about and kind of get, feel of Lee, of who she is, go back and listen and then come back and listen to this one. Or hey, just go with it and listen to this one first.
Whichever floats your boat.
There you go. Whichever floats your boat. So, since last time we spoke, I think I saw somewhere that you've started a business.
I have. It's hot news, hot off the press, Eric. So,
hot off the press.
Yes, it's it's March now, but just this year, at the turn of the new year, I have officially started my own triathlon coaching business and have been really excited just to kind of dive into that and learn what it means to start and own a business and explore ways that I can help more people find passion in triathlon.
Oh, that's awesome. So, of course I got to ask, why did you want to start that business? Just like, what's your why? Why did you want to?
Yes. So triathlon is really, it's my one true love. It was love at first sight. I have to say that. And since I started my triathlon journey, this is like my 8th season in the sport. I have just really felt that I've grown as an individual, as an athlete. I've achieved things that I never thought were possible, and I want to share that with other people. So I've always kind of seen myself as not just a natural coach. I tend to fall into that type of role professionally, personally, and have taken on that role in the past in various different ways. And it seemed like, hey, if I can combine this passion with my joy, knack for coaching, and kind of combine passion and business and turn it into one, I think that might be the secret sauce. So I'm really just trying to share that love with other people and give other people that opportunity to achieve what they once thought of as impossible. That's the goal.
Nice. I love it. So there are a lot of other coaches out there. So what sets you apart?
Isn't that the truth, Eric? There are so many coaches, and you know what? At first, I almost let that. It can be an intimidating factor. It really is.
Yes.
But you know what I've learned is that there's no one perfect coach.
Exactly.
There's different coaches for a reason, because we're all unique beings and we like to do things different ways. And, there's room for people that have passion in the industry and want to share that passion. So that's why I was like, hey, let's give it a go. And I think what sets LRC apart, so I say LRC, the name of my coaching business is Limitless Racing and Coaching, and I like to abbreviate it as, it's already got its own abbreviation, Eric. So it's called LRC. And I think what sets us apart is, where it's multi-sport coaching, but it's really about kind of finding that joy and finding the bravery, and not just working on development as an athlete, but also working on things like mindset. I think that that's been a huge factor in my success as an athlete along the way, is just exercising that muscle and developing my mindset and challenging my mindset. So I definitely am looking forward to combining that as a factor that maybe sets LRC a little bit apart from others. But outside of that, I would just say I like to have fun in the sport. And hey, like I'm a detailed person, and I'm going to, I plan to give my athletes the time and attention to detail they deserve. But it's also going to be about fun and community and just celebrating sport.
Nice.
Yeah.
Plus, that's a great answer.
Great. I'm glad.
So, what challenges have you seen, even though it's only been a few months since you started? What has been, some of the challenges you faced?
In any new endeavor, there's always going to be kind of a big wall to climb at first. There's a lot of hurdles to get over. I think personally, the biggest challenge for me to overcome, I've definitely had to battle with a little bit of imposter syndrome.
Okay.
I think it's only natural to maybe have some self-doubt when you're first starting off and being vulnerable and putting yourself out there. So I've started working with a mentor to help kind of work on some of those things and get me geared up and in the game. And then I think just from a challenge from a business perspective is, you're right. There are a lot of coaches out there. And it's really just making sure that I'm getting the word out there and helping people understand who I am, what is LRC, and how can we help people in their journey through sport. Okay.
Is that so? With that, imagine if I'm coming. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me. I'm walking in. I'm interested in doing a, triathlon. I've seen my friends do it. I've seen other people do it, and it's piqued my curiosity. How would you help me, kind of get over the fear of taking that leap to try my first triathlon?
Well, first of all, Eric, I think we need to work together to do that triathlon.
Okay.
I think we need to give it a go.
But I'm scared. I'm scared.
I was an athlete. So I think at the beginning, talking to athletes about maybe some of their fears is a good place to start. Hey, what is your background in sport? What experience do you have, and how can we build upon what your current experience is? And maybe if you're starting from scratch, amazing. There's definitely tools in the tool belt to help an athlete overcome. But I think in terms of getting someone over that hump, it's knowing that you've got someone by your side that you can trust, that has your best interest at heart. And that's really the type of coach that I am. I'm working with athletes, not just as another athlete on the roster, but as individuals. And there's really no one size fits all plan. So I think for me, it's about learning about your personality, what drives you, what motivates you, what are your goals, how do you like to communicate, and taking it as, step by step that way. So it's really just turning it into an individualized experience to help people overcome maybe some of those fears. And then when it comes down to the nitty gritty, a lot of times it's practice makes perfect. So there's a lot of techniques that we can use to get athletes prepared and ready for race day, so that they've got the mental confidence to go in and say, hey, you know what? I've got evidence that shows that I've done this before and I can make this happen because my coach has helped me practice this before. So a little bit of rehearsal, mental rehearsal, definitely some key sessions that we can integrate. But at the beginning, if we're rewinding, it's really just about getting to know the individual and how they tick.
Coach Lee, you have me.
Great.
I'm going to run.
You are officially a limitless athlete, Eric. Sign you up.
And the reason why I asked that question, that's what, even just in general conversation with people, it's that fear.
Yes.
And, you want to not just encourage them, but, recognize that they have a fear, and help them, acknowledge the fear and, and kind of embrace it. Because sometimes embracing that fear is the fuel that gets you motivated to do it.
Exactly. And you know what? I think what's great about the journey that I've had is I look forward to sharing some of those experiences with my athletes. So, I had a lot of fear going into just starting the sport of triathlon. I think when we spoke last time, we talked about, hey, there was a big hurdle of just kind of getting over the fear of just starting, and the open water swimming and the whole 9 yards. So I think it's a great thing when you can share some of those personal experiences, and it's great for people to have those coaches that can kind of relate to that fear and know where you're coming from. So I think that that's definitely a good thing that people can discuss for sure.
Yes. All right, so we're not going to spend the whole time talking about your business,
Okay.
but to start it out,
Yeah.
we started out that way because
Great.
that's the recent thing. But I also noticed a couple of months ago,
Yeah.
you were also doing YouTube videos.
Oh, Eric. Yes. I'm a YouTube star. No, not really. It's a passion project. So I started a YouTube channel last year, Limitless with Leah, and it started off. I've always been super curious about making videos and just that whole creative process. I think it's just really interesting to me. And by no means have I become an expert. I am a far cry from that. But it's so almost liberating to explore a new kind of hobby and try new things and share the journey. So it's just a great place where I can be my authentic self, also be creative, and enjoy the process. So I haven't posted a vid in a couple months, Eric.
Yes, you have
I'm a little
not posted
behind.
one. Yes, you are.
I'm a little behind. Okay, I'll admit it. I have sometimes life just happens, and the content starts to build up a little bit, and then you have this mountain of content, and you're like, where do I start? So I'm definitely looking forward to jumping back into that this year, sharing some of my experiences, kind of picking up from where I left off, but also sharing in some of the new adventures that I'm getting into this year as well.
So in the back of your mind, you're not saying, doggone it, why did he bring that up? Now I have to.
No, I love that you brought it up because I know people have been like, where have you been on the tube? And I'm like, I'm coming back. I'm simmering. I'm simmering on the next creative process. Yes.
You're simmering.
I'm simmering on it. It'll come to a boil soon.
Yeah. Maybe that's a t-shirt.
I love that. Yes. Yes. Let's do it.
All right. Outside of, starting a business and, your YouTube, what have you been up to in regards to racing? Have you, obviously you've been continued racing, but have you, achieved the goals, your personal goals you may have been working toward? Have you got any new goals or new challenges that you're looking forward to?
Yes. And you know what I love about this podcast, Eric, is I see it kind of as like a full circle moment. So I went back and I listened to the first episode that we recorded. And I'll be honest, I actually got a little emotional because you asked me that same question. What are you training for? What's the goal down the line? What are you looking forward to achieving? And at the time, I said that, hey, it would totally be a dream of mine to qualify for 70.3 World Championships.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, it was kind of a dream in the sky, that
Right.
sparkling star that you saw off in the distance and you really didn't know if it was possible. And I'm so excited to share with you, Eric, that this past year I did qualify for 70.3 World Championships, and I raced at the championship event this past December
Mm-hmm.
it's pronounced Topa. I keep saying Taupo. It seems to be there's definitely a right or wrong way to say it, but it's Topa, New Zealand is where the race was. And it was so beautiful and so amazing just to be immersed in that experience and feel that kind of dream or goal come to fruition. So that was definitely a kind of full circle moment, listening to, hey, that was once something I was dreaming of, and now I'm here and can kind of sit back and say, it's moments like this, it makes you realize that a lot has happened if you just kind of stick with it, persevere, and commit to those goals. So that has been that was one of my really fun races that I did this past year. I also did my first full iron. On the last episode, I was like, I don't really know. I think I'd like to do that, but that sounds pretty scary. Right. So I did Ironman Lake Placid this year, and that was totally epic and an amazing day. So this past year was definitely a big growth year for me. And this coming year, I'm changing things up. So I was kind of in endurance mode in 2024. In 2025, I've got a little like vision board document. My theme of the year, Eric, is speed. Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw it back to the roots of where I started my journey in triathlon and just focus on like pure fun and having fun with going fast, because that is just fun to me. So I'm going to do some sprints. I'm going to do some Olympics. I have one for sure, 70.3 on the agenda. I'm sure that'll probably turn into more than one. Sometimes the race calendar evolves as the year goes on.
Of course.
So I'm keeping an open mind about that, but definitely kind of throwing it back to do some maybe shorter distances this year. That's what I'm working on.
Okay, good to hear. So it's funny you say that you're kind of going back to speed. You're kind of taking it back a little bit. I know from myself, I took last year off. Took it well, and I took it off more so to give myself a break, and and kind of let my body kind of I don't want to say heal because I wasn't injured, but I was pushing myself.
Yes.
And then I had a lot of other things going on. I was like, you know what, I would rather not race, and then maybe grow into some type of depression because I'm not performing at the level I expect myself to be. So I took the time off, and so I've been building back up. So knock on wood, granted, everything goes well, I'll start back racing around about May. So
great.
Going, taking things back, it kind of helps you bring back that joy of why I got into this.
Yes.
Why I started running, why I started cycling, why I started racing. It takes that back. And, so it was good to hear that you said that, you know what, I'm going to roll it back a little bit. So that's good to hear that.
Definitely. I think we all need those seasons of, we definitely all need a break. Yes. I think that you'll probably find, Eric, I would hope that you're going to come back and you're going to be so recharged and refueled, and it's going to help you continue that, to fuel that passion for years to come. it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I think sometimes we just can kind of get a little tunnel vision and keep focusing on the next race, the next race. And then before you know it, burnout is definitely real. So you definitely need those seasons to recover and find that, keep fueling the fire.
Right. Get your mojo back.
Get your mojo back. Yeah, I for sure, this past year was I would say, probably my longest like training year. So I started training in November 2023, and I trained all the way through to December of 2024. Okay. And once I got past 70.3 world champs, I was like, wow, do I need a break? And working with my current coach, when we started to kind of gear back into things around January, I was like, my body was finding it. I was like mentally maybe not into it just yet. And I just realized that, hey, the body doesn't lie. If you're just not into it, if you're not feeling into it, if your body's resisting, sometimes it's just a good sign that you need to continue to give yourself a little more rest and come back when you're ready. So definitely it works.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. And the thing about it, with me taking that time off, it's like I found that joy of running again. Just, just getting out running, not worrying about, okay, am I maintaining this pace? Okay, I've got to make sure. Okay, I didn't finish this 3 miles within the time I normally finish. What did I do wrong? Okay, let me make sure I eat right. Getting on my bike. Okay, did I ride? So just getting out and like, hey, I'm gonna go for a run. Not worry about my pace, my speed, or anything. I'm gonna go for a bike ride and just enjoy riding my bike.
Yeah, you were like a wild Mustang that's been let out to pasture and just given the freedom. It's that feeling of just no structure, pure fun and freedom to kind of explore what those where the roots in enjoyment came from originally.
Yes. All right, so let's kind of go back a little bit to you mentioned you listened back to that first episode we recorded, and up to now, what do you know now that you wish you knew then? That you can kind of go back, like, what, if I knew this back then, this could have been better, or I would have avoided making this mistake.
Wow. Man, Eric, you always have the best questions. That's why this is the best podcaster around. Listening back, I think I didn't realize at the time that I really did have things set up in a good spot. I was doing things because I enjoyed them, because it was fun, and I was building confidence in the sport. And sometimes I can be my own worst critic. I think a lot of us can do that as athletes. We can be so hard on ourselves. And I think looking back, I would say, like, hey, girl, like, you have the secret sauce. Like, you're doing great, and you're on the right path, and you need to continue to believe in yourself. So that's believing in yourself is probably the one piece of advice that I would give myself and remind myself of, that kind of like future Leah going back and reminding prior Leah. That's what I would say. Keep believing in yourself. Things will come together if you continue to persevere in the journey.
Okay. Has anything changed, in regards to, your racing? Generally when you start out, you have like, wait, this is what I do. This is the type of shoe I wear. This is the type of bike I'm riding. This is how I'm fueling. Has anything changed with you, or you're like, what? It worked for me back then. I'm gonna stick with it.
Well, okay. So in the first episode we recorded, at the time, I was an Asics girly, and now I have been using Ons the past 2 or 3 years. So in terms of my like shoe choice, I'm I have officially gone to the dark side, and I've been using On, and I love On, so On
Okay.
Clouds.
Okay. I
Equipment,
was gonna get a smile if you just said Hoka.
yeah,
I was gonna get a
I'm
big
not
smile if you just said
opposed.
Hoka.
One thing that I have found is that you can't be opposed to trying and testing out new things,
Right.
because you just never know what might click and work. So, never say never. I might become a Hoka girl down the road. But as for now, that's definitely been a change from the last episode when I listened back. But you know what is hilarious to me is you asked me about nutrition on that first episode, and I told you about how I absolutely was enamored with the Coca-Cola flavor of Tailwind. And guess what, Eric? I still love that flavor. And today they just announced that they're discontinuing that flavor. So right before this podcast, I was literally buying up as much cola Tailwind as I could find because I love it so much. They promise that they've got some new flavors coming out that are going to be good. So we'll see. But
Yeah.
I've got some backup.
Yeah, every time I hear that you get locked into a flavor or something that you
Yeah.
like, they discontinue. Like, oh, we're gonna come out with something good. And what they generally come out with is terrible.
I'm really crossing my fingers on that one. But
Yeah,
I've got my backup stash. In terms of other things, like equipment wise, I'm still when we last spoke, I had just gotten my first tri bike, my Quintana Roo. I'm still riding strong on that. I would say probably within the next year or two, I'll probably be looking for a little bit of an upgrade, but that bike has been so amazing, and it makes me feel like I'm having so much fun every time I go out on the race course with it. So, yeah, that's, some things change and some things just stay the same.
Hey, that's it. If it works, it works.
It works. It works. Yes.
What is it? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. So, is there anything else that I might have missed or you have coming up like oh yeah, and be on the lookout for?
What else has changed? Okay, so I'm just trying to think of dialing it back. So other good news is I'm the Northeast captain of Team Barlow. So I'm still with Team Barlow.
Okay.
And now I'm proud to help lead the Northeast region now that I have moved to upstate New York. The last time we talked, I was in Texas, and I was complaining about how hot it was for me to go out and go for my runs, and I had to run on the treadmill. Well, now I'm living in a different side of things, and I have to run on the treadmill because it looks like a snow globe outside. But yes, in the Northeast, still loving my time with Team Barlow. So that's something that, hey, it hasn't changed, but some things are new, but some things have stayed the same. And still loving working with all those athletes and amazing people on that team. So that's kind of a good highlight for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to get into the Varlo stuff. I was going to ask, are you still wearing Varlo? Which obviously you are.
Yes, because I would not look fly if I was not wearing Varlo.
I would not look fly.
It keeps me looking fly, Eric. Yes.
Look, you are coming up with all the taglines. Let it simmer.
I love a good tagline. Yes. I like good puns. I like good taglines. Yeah. All the creative stuff. Dad jokes. I like all of it.
Here's the thing. I hadn't seen a dance in a while.
Eric, I knew you were going to bring that up. And I'm here to apologize. I got to do a better job at that. So, I still do. I like to just celebrate at the finish line with a little dance move here and there. And I think because I haven't been on my like vlog game, I haven't been sharing as many dance moves. So that's, what I will promise. There will be more dance moves in 2025. That is a promise from me to the No Gimmicks, Just Sweat universe.
Oh, it's recorded, so yeah, it's there. You can't get away from it.
Can't get away from it. Yeah, gosh, that is just such, it's a fun way to celebrate. And, there may have been some dance moves at the finish line at Ironman Lake Placid. And, sometimes you just got to break out those disco fingers and celebrate what you have achieved. So, yes, I'm all for the dance moves, Eric.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, I didn't want to make sure you were getting too big that, you couldn't dance anymore.
No. Definitely not. I will still be, maybe I'll come up with some new moves. Just for this year.
Oh, new moves for 2025.
I better get to practicing.
All right. Well, Lee, it has been amazing talking with you.
Eric, it is always such a joy catching up with you, and definitely want to just thank you for what you do for the community. I love listening to other athletes and hearing some of their journeys. And I was listening to another episode, it was in the 70s, episode 70 something from like last spring. And you were talking to a gal and I was like, wow, I feel like I have so much in common with her. I probably need to reach out to that person. So it's, I never would have learned that if I hadn't heard your podcast. So I love that you're still continuing on with this and inviting people, some new people on, and inviting folks back on. It's always fun to catch up.
Oh, thank you. You got me blushing over here. That's why I'm glad the camera's off.
Me too, because I have pool hair. I just got out the pool.
Yeah, okay.
It's a classic look.
But again, thank you for coming back on the show and, catching me up with everything that's going on in your life.
Definitely. And go ahead, Eric.
And I was going to say, if people want to get in contact with you, if they want to kind of follow you, if they want to see those new dance moves you make, how can they do so?
Yes. Okay. So if you want to follow me to see some dance moves, or if you're looking to maybe switch up things with coaching, maybe investigate a new coach, or try your first triathlon, or level up in your next triathlon journey, definitely give me a shout. So you can follow me, Limitless with Leah, on Instagram. I also have a new account, Limitless Racing and Coaching, on Instagram. And you can also check out my website, limitlessracingandcoaching.com.
Awesome. So, and I'm going to safely assume there's going to be some t-shirts and gear coming soon, right?
Oh, I love the good swag. So yes, that is coming. It's coming down the line. Okay. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it's ready, Eric.
All right. Let me know.
I will.
All right. Again, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you as well. And take care. Can't wait to listen to all the upcoming episodes.
Awesome. Thank you. Again, you can't see my face. You can't see me blush. All right. Have a good one.
Okay. You too, Eric. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the No Gimmicks, Just Sweat podcast. We really appreciate everyone who tunes in each week. If you enjoyed today's show, please support us by subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember to tell your friends about the No Gimmicks, Just Sweat podcast, so we can continue to have awesome conversations with everyday athletes just like you. Until next time, have an amazing week.